Hello. So I've seen a few people join. That's beautiful. Now let's get to our notes on those mindset things. Yep. One more, one more, one more. Okay, we're all ready. So in today's mindset call, let's talk about a reset button. Now, this morning on my Instagram, I did go and post about that reset, how we can have a way to have our hands on that reset button. Sometimes things just go horribly wrong. Maybe it was a conversation you had, maybe it was a client who didn't buy something, or maybe it was an event that you just wish you could undo. Now, when we have that undo button on the computer and on our laptops and on this techno driven world, we tend to just quickly hit that and go back, and redo the thing. And we don't give it a second thought because it is easy. But in real life, we don't have a back button, we don't have a undo button. But if you had an undo button, what would you do with it? Would you undo a conversation? Would you undo a hurtful thing you said? Would you undo some action? Would you undo picking up that box in the storeroom in the wrong way? Would you undo, I don't know, eating cake last night? So, whatever your undo thing is, you do have that undo button. And when we make positive changes, um, like I said before, we don't have that undo button in real life, but we do have the option to make better choices. And when we have better choices and make those choices, the important thing comes when you've realized that you needed to make the change. And of course, we cannot make other people do things or change them. They are on their own path and on their own journey. And that includes our clients. We cannot by no means convince them to buy anything. We also can't convince our loved ones that the way we see life and the way that we think about things is the right way, because it isn't always the right way. It's just from our perspective that that thing is the right way. Now, when we have some way to reflect and make those changes, we get to emphasize certain aspects. And what happens often is we emphasize the negative things instead of stepping back, seeing the view from a wider perspective, and then picking out the positive things and then changing the rest. So often when we become almost like a message popped up. So often when we have that self-awareness where we can see what our part in stuff was, where we could see the positive aspects from another person's point of view, and when we can change the things that do not belong there, the next time something happens and you need that undo button or the reset button, it would be so much easier to reflect and then move forward. Make the new choice, make the different choice, say the better thing. And take control of yourself, not others. Now, in the realms of mastering oneself, we get to highlight the futility of trying to control other people. And that simply doesn't work. We could voice our opinions, we could step in and almost exert ourselves onto another person by shouting and yelling or having wild conversations. But so often the other person shuts down or keeps quiet, and then whatever happened in that moment, and remember, it's just a moment, that you could have handled another way, that you could have done kinder, that you could have done in a more controlled or self-controlled manner. And I am talking here to myself today as well, because it's so easy to only see our own point of view and not incorporate the other person's perspective. They might be doing the best they can, and that control you're trying to exert over the other person is just making them less inclined to want to be part of this journey you are on. So I do know that we can control our own words, our own emotions, our own thought patterns. And by doing that, we have empowered ourselves. We've stepped out of that place where we constantly feel that life is attacking us, or that the other person isn't loving and caring, or doesn't see our point of view. We have examples of that throughout our whole lives. And when you create a quiet moment, like for instance, when you're doing a mindful practice, or going in and writing your daily tasks in your diary, or even when you reflect, and one of those reflection things is the 30-day self-mastery and transformation document I created. I call it a companion document. And I'm on day 15 today, which is the 15th of July. But it says here to try out a new medium. And I'm all about my sketchbook journaling and drawing and coloring and painting in watercolors and writing and so on. And today I decided to take that iPad and create a frame around one of my pictures with the iPad, because that shift in doing something else, in trying another approach, in listening to the other side and making a change, could lead you to personal growth and a better outcome. But so often we're not willing to try the new thing. We're not willing to try the new medium. We're not willing to try a new skill or a new tactic. We tend to fall back on what we know already. And the same goes for what's happening in our subconscious mind. That subconscious mind is already programmed with the way you live your life. But when you become self-aware for just a moment and realize that that's like a computer, it's just a program that's been installed, and you can override that programming, you can install new programming, you can create a new proactive mindset, and you can also improve upon suggestion. So people might have their own opinions about how you should be running your life, how you need to be doing things. And we also have lots and lots of opinions about how other people think, how they make choices, how they do things in life. But when you can see your role in that as an observer, and you release all control, see the other perspective, and then have a change in attitude, the roles shift, and you do have an undo button. In fact, you have the greatest undo button of all. And that is where you make your choices, do the better thing without needing that undo button. Now, I do want you to cultivate a mindset towards being a little bit more aware of the things you blurt out into the world, the things you give out into the world, because all of those things carry some or other energetic pulse, and that pulse might ricochet and hit right back into you. And it's not always a good thing to be reactive. It's far better to be responsive. And to be responsive literally means to take a softer approach. I'm not saying be a softie or let everybody walk all over you. I'm just saying instead of being rugged and in charge and in control and the boss, just be a little bit more mindful about how you project your point of view and sometimes your solution out to the world. And yes, your solution is valid. The way you do things is very valid, but you need to see how all of those things affect and effect other people and the way things turn out. You could, for instance, have a fantastic week because your mindset is in the right place. But you can also have a really crappy week because it starts off wrong and things just didn't work out the way you wanted because you didn't have the undo button. But again, I'll mention the 30-day self-mastery. And I know that's more geared towards the artist types, but you can take any one of those situations, any one of those prompts, and apply them on your own self-mastery journey. And you get to transform those things once you become aware of them. It's so easy to just fall back into our habits and our old habits and our old way of doing things. But when we can make those positive changes and empower our choices, we get to adopt a whole new way of systematically bringing in a new habit that could change everything. It could change everything. And when you have this better self to operate in the world, you'll notice that so many more things come your way, that synchronicities that show you the beauty in the world that does exist. But when we're constantly in that undo, undo, undo button mode, we tend to not see the beauty that surrounds us. We stress over things that don't even need our attention. And we also tend to want to control others and control the situation and forget that everybody is on their own journey, doing the best they can. And when you can have that little bit of self awareness and compassion for another person, it becomes a mindful life and a lifestyle choice to be a better person, to act in a better way. And um, yes, Dominic, it sounds like your mother. Um, we all need to uh, have a moment of self reflection and just step away, see a new perspective so that we don't need the undo button to undo the things we do, not only to other people, but to ourselves as well. That chocolate cake you had last night, undo. Next time, have a cup of coffee instead. And don't forget that self reflection and time alone means you get to make the best choices for what to do in the next situation. All right. That's our 15-minute mindset for today. Thank you so much for everybody who joined, and thank you for being here. I really felt so surprised and really appreciate that. All right. Bye.